Okay, welcome back. Alright, last time we got to the point of having a basic canvas appearing on a HTML page. Nothing fancy, just following some documentation to get that across. Now, in the little time we've had to actually work on this, we've been able to add a couple of things. One, we've set the module and imported this WOPR.js where I'm going to have all the WOPR logic there. And I'm starting to work on drawing the countries to the terminal. Once I get some coordinates for that, I can do that. But for the time being, let's have a look and see what's happened. Okay, so at this stage, I've been able to get the logon prompts and a few of the commands and the back and forth between the user and the system working. I've also got the animation of the character by character stuff working. So if we have a look here, we can say things like help games, like he does in the movie. And then we have the list of games or the actual definition about what the games are. Okay, and then you can do the list games. And off they trot. Probably at a slightly slower speed than what we want to do going forward, but this just shows what we've been able to do. And I've just grabbed a random font, old terminal looking font off the internet for the time being. And I will look for more of a WOPR style font going forward, but for the time being, this will do. This kind of gives the look and feel of what we want. Okay, so I've been able to help games, list games. We can log in as Joshua, and I'll refresh that so we get a login prompt again. Joshua. Boom. There we go. Got some splash screens that go, and then we're presented with the greetings, and we have some back and forth going here. So I'm fine. How are you? And we get the same dialogue between the WOPR and the user as the same in the movie. I think, I can never remember this. Sometimes people make mistakes, or people sometimes make mistakes. So we'll say people sometimes. People sometimes make mistakes. Yes, they do. Shall we play a game? Yes. How about global thermonuclear war? Fine. There we go. And I've started to get the map drawing. The map drawing goes line by line, top to bottom, and puts out the map of Soviet, Russia, and the USA, and then you get some more prompts. So that will be the next thing I work out. But for the time being, we've got quite a while through it. Okay, so let's have a look at how I've put this together, and feel free to critique. I've basically imported a JavaScript module in our HTML page here, and this WOPR file does everything. It's a mess at the moment. It should be refactored at some point, but for the time being, effectively got some coordinates and positioning things, markers at the start of the file, so they're just there for, font color, where the cursor starts, the speed of the text, so I can tweak that. And then we get to the general setting up your context and your canvas there, filling it with black, setting the font here, the font size. Then we've got some functions here that can do the printing text character by character and whether or not you want a new line at the end of that. And then I've also made another one of those here saying print array character by character. So effectively I can give a list of strings and then print each string in order, character by character. So if you look down the bottom here, you can see I've got my games list. I can just pass that as an argument into my print array character by character, and it'll go through this. I've got my splash screens for the login. These are the same as what's shown in the movie. I haven't done the light blue highlighting over some of these words that I can do later on, but effectively these are the two here. If we go back up, here we go. We've got the draw cursor, so beginning a path and then doing an array, a loop over positions here, going -3 up a position every time to draw from bottom to top the lines that make up the cursor. So we've got that draw cursor, and we also have the interaction between the user, so handling the input. So basically, if the user's logged in, so I've got a state variable there to say whether or not they've actually typed in Joshua. And then once the user does that, they can run through and do the hello and get the the text back. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. And all that way. And then when the system says when you prefer a good game of chess, and we can say later, let's play the game, then it'll kick into drawing that map. And you can see here that I've actually got a couple of functions here around the Russia-USA map coordinates. So I've got to draw a line from here to there and wait. So effectively that says I'm going to draw a line from x1, y1 to x2, y2 at this speed. And then once I get there, I'm going to sleep. And I've made a sleep function using a little set timeout. There it is. So returns a new promise that resolves that timeout to however many milliseconds we want it to sleep for. And the draw line from here to there just at the end does the sleep. So that's how I'm going to draw the map, and I just need to painstakingly go through screenshots, go through the coordinates at each line that gets drawn, and then left to right, top to bottom, draw these maps out. Once I do that, I'll probably look at making another way of handling the user input, whether or not I make like a big JSON file that has all the prompts versus text going in and the stage of where you're at. So maybe it's based on state, and then you can read down to sub-elements of that JSON array to find out what should come back once you say those things. So that'll evolve as we go, but for the time being, I think this is a reasonable start.